Let's fight! Let's fight, guys! Let's fight! Let's fight! Let's fight! Good to have you and everyone of you here with us tonight. It's Friday night, and you should know not because it's weekend, it's fucking long. You're actually gonna pick up some speed tonight. Let's fight! Let's fight! Good people! Good old videos happening all there. Here we are. My congratulations, much good folks. May I have your attention, please? Might I have your attention, please? Might I have your attention, guys? Head to the power. Foot to the ground. We there. That's right, guys, and welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. We trust that you guys had a fantastic week. We trust that you guys had a fantastic day. Welcome, one and all. Coming up, Dr. David Hinds. Coming up, Dr. Kidackie Amsterdam, if you please. Coming up, my brothers, they're going to be here with us, guys. It's that kind of night. Coming up, Dr. David Hinds. Coming up, Kidackie Amsterdam, Dr. Kidackie Amsterdam. Welcome in the ring, guys. Welcome. So happy that my brothers will be joining us this evening. Welcome in the ring. Barbara, Shade Alive, and Troy Cumberbatch, and all the other folks watching us. Troy watching us from Myconi, Canada Reynolds. Good to see you, Wilma Grant. Mortimer Timothy Reynolds is here. Sion Quinton is here. Yvonne Lammy is here. Yep, my guests are here as well. And I'm so happy that they agreed to join me this evening. Yep. This is the night when two mountains meet a little hill. I the little hill, just in case you wondered. I am the little hill. Two mountains meet a little hill. Mavis Davis, well. Yep. David, I see Tessa Isaacs Graves Andy is here as well. Guys, we trust you had a good week. We trust you meeting your goals. We trust you meeting all of the aims you have, the objectives you set out to accomplish, folks. We trust you touching them. A new month is here. First day, tomorrow's the second already. Just now it's Christmas. Here, the place within that quick. Just now it's Christmas. Charlie Cook, Patricia Kisu, and all you beautiful, lovely folks. We're so happy you're here. Share the live, warm welcome. Smash that emoji button. You all know how we do it, folks. Good to have you. We got Buxton Morning in the house. We got Politics 101 in the house. You guys are here. What better evening could we spend? Come on, folks. Tell somebody Kidackie Amsterdam is here. Tell somebody David Hinds is going to be joining us in just a little bit, folks. As we get things on the way, we're going to walk through the fight card. Then we're going to come back in a couple of minutes and talk to these respected gentlemen. Please and thank you. Lena Williams, good to see you, Lena. Hope Lynn is well. Sheena Hazel, Monishwa in the Rhine, good to have you. And Cecile and Karen and Bob and is it Dion and Denise, all of you beautiful folks, good to have you here, guys. I'm fired up. No time to lose. I am ready to go because I want to get through the fight card, show you some of what happened during the course of the day, and then bring my guests on. We're going to talk about what's been happening on the East Coast, up and down, and in the middle, and other national issues as well. Paul Hicks, good to see you. Good to see you, Volme and Vanessa Hackett. Good to have you guys here. Nicola, good to have you. Yep. Jenny's Booker, boots on the ground. The guys are here tonight. Yep. We are so happy that you folks are going to be joining us as well. Good to see you guys. Richard Fordyce and Amanda Kendall, Sherry Baskin Greenwich from Barbados is here. Paul Hicks and all the other folks. I see Nigel Hector is here as well. Omika Douglas, good night to you as well. Horace Thomas, how are you folks doing? And Oren Marks, Penelope Hudson, Barbara Raff, Claudine LaRose Duqua, how are you doing? How is Kakwani? Good to have you here. Mary Fraser, yep, Eagleton Eastman, good to have you here as well. Suzanne, Carol, Onessa, Donna David, good to have you folks. Guys, I'm ready to head through the fight card because I'm so excited to talk to my guest this evening, folks. So excited to have the morning, meet the night. Buxton Morning is here, meet in the ring, and so excited to have Politics 101 here. It's a conversion, folks. It's a coalescing. Good to have these brilliant guys here this evening. Joan Holder, see you here as well, and Sandia and Bonita Elise Parker, I see you here as well. Folks, I'm so excited. I want to get through the fight card and get back to these guys. Are you guys ready? Share the live. Smash that emoji button. I don't want my guests to lose the hearing. So I'm going to be a little moderate with the bell this evening. Mabel King, but I see you there. Amanda Daniel, we see you as well, folks. We see you as well. We're ready to go. Lyndon Gale, you see some of y'all coming late. You end up at the back. That's not our problem. Bob Annie and Winston Kilkenny, Yvonne Daly. We know who in pit, who in balcony. Show up, folks. We see Vibrant White is here and Orjuard. All the beautiful folks are here this evening. And we are so happy that you especially came. We got coming up, for those persons who are now joining us, we're going to be joined by Dr. David Hinds, and we're going to be joined by Dr. Kidackie Amsterdam as well. Yes, he's of that ilk and repute. Please and thank you. Folks, I'm excited to go. Share the live, smash the emoji button, ensure that you share to all the right places. I got that bit to do, ensure that I'm shared to all the right places as well. And then we're going to be good to go, folks. We're going to be good to go. I ain't looking too bad tonight. Just like this age, agree with me. Good to have each and every one of you guys. You really trust you guys have had a good day. You had a good week, and that the weekend is off to a fantastic start. Is off to a running start. Some of you gotta pick up the pace, you know. Some of you are lagging behind. You gotta pick up the pace a little bit. You gotta pick up the pace a little bit. Good to have you guys here. Share the live, smash the emoji button, partner with us. Good to have you folks, and I'm about to share it to a couple other places, and then we're gonna be good to go. Is it gonna go? Is it gonna go? I wonder. But you share it to your end, folks. Back to your groups, back to your pages, back to WhatsApp, and all the other places. You know where to share it. Don't ever get vexed on a bell and up in your chest. I beg of you, right? I want to be on my P's and my Q's in front of my guests. You know we do it on our P's and Q's in front of our guests. Wherever you guys are joining us from tonight. All right, come along now. Work with me. Wherever you guys are joining us from this evening, we are so happy you're here, and we're going through to come some other places. We are so very happy that each and every one of you are here with us, guys. That's how it's going down. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Welcome. I know it's going through to some other places, and that's why I'm going to say welcome. So when it goes through to those guys, they ain't just meeting us halfway. Welcome in the ring to each and every one. You're in the right place. If you make a wrong turn, you end up here, you're still in the right place. You're in the right place, folks. I see a lot of you have joined us, and we're so happy that you guys are here. I'm telling you, those of you who are now joining us, coming up, Dr. David Hinds, and coming up, Kidackie Amsterdam. Let's get to the fight card, folks. I think we're where we need to be. And we know. Once you live in here, you understand this phrase. It's not a real place. It's not a real place. As a matter of fact, the late, great national poet Martin Carter says, Guyana is a civilized plantation. Martin Carter said, sometimes I speak so fast. Guyana is not a real place. It is not country. It's a civilized plantation. It is not. Imagine you're in a minibus. And because you tell the driver, turn down the music and slow down and let us arrive alive, he stopped the bus and put you all out. But that happened to some people. And I want to show you all the bus number. I want to show to y'all that happened to some folks. They're in a bus going along the way peacefully. And just because they asked the driver to turn down the music, the man stopped. He said, "Okay, no more." Right? BAB 6023. Some folks contacted us. They said the man put them on the bus. All because they talk for the rights. That's the kind of country we can live in. You want to just arrive alive and with your ear drums intact. The man stopped the bus and pull him out. That is why, folks. That's why the guys tell us it's not a real place, you know. It's a place. And when you see some of these jagabats and trench crappers operate, you understand what we're talking about. Ghana is not a real place. We got to change that culture, though. We got to change the culture We got to change it for the better. Moving on in the fight card. It's a puppet presidency. You understand it? You understand? Or if he's Rasta, he hurt like me. You understand? It's a puppet presidency. Every day we see a little bit of it. Every day. Every day. A little bit of it. You haven't tell me, Jack, you move back to State House. We have to find out for myself. Y'all don't know this thing what? We keep y'all informed. Y'all keep me informed. And together we move forward. On Facebook, and Twitter, and YouTube. Yep, we are being made to understand that Jack Lee has moved back to State House. And folks send us some images here that shows he's having regular meetings by himself at State House. There's some things going down. Yep. Third term in his skin. But long time gone, short time come. Every room got an end, you know. Every room got any man having meetings, moving, State House. We knew what was happening. We tell some of you, y'all didn't believe we. We told some of you, but you didn't believe us. Now you have to see for yourself. But take them now. Third term, puppet presidency. And we've been showing you guys little by little by little. He's having a meeting here, we made to understand, with USA. USA at State House. That's the office now. We meet where we going. People, we have meet where we go. We reach. We land. McBean, we meet. Beatrice Selby. That's what happening. Little by little. He moving in. No, he's like some people. They come by here for one day. Then they say, oh, look how late. I can go in the morning. And then next year, 3 months later, then left here, at least them kind of people. You get a inch? They got the whole house. Well, you know his house had the surveillance, like you think it bug or something. Since to gate. And Guyana for sale. So like he moving now. He moving next door. So he's having his meetings here. Look story. We told you. Yep, puppet presidency. Pace and power though. Pace and power. We saw some things and then we see them. That's all you could say. Pace and power. We carry them to court. Nonsense. That's what we learned today from leader of the opposition, Mr. Aubrey Norton. He says, see the foolishness. The dinner with that commission and the police service commission, court. That does not exude consulting with the leader of the opposition. No, we having it. You think we can just roll over and play that? We don't wake up thinking about the cemetery like some people. Please and thank you. We wake up thinking about how we can develop this country for all Guyanese. So we carry them to court. Don't come around with funny, your funny actions. We carry them to court. So folks, we learned today that they're going to court over this and over other things. We love it, pace and power. Pace and power. That's how we gotta keep moving. Pray name calling too. Pray name calling. You think it's only your fun? Pray name calling as well, every day. They said they can make education great again. We were taking education someplace. Ask Kidackie Amsterdam. He talks about it all the time on Boxing Morning. On Cam's TV. Ask him, education is going someplace. Children were doing better results at CSEC, better results at CAPE, better results at NGSA. Now, where we there? We got prayer. But we learned today, if you haven't carried back your books, you can't get the cash grant. Oh, y'all don't know it had criteria and so on. Y'all see the manifesto, cash grant and so on, and we say, we get in. We get in, but the people tell me now, if you don't carry back your textbooks, the circle went wrong. If you don't carry back your textbooks, you can't get a cash grant. And if you don't have your textbooks, well, you may end up paying the whole cash grant back to the textbook. Because we being made to understand it's 5,000 and so on for them textbooks now. If you don't have the textbooks, you got to fork up the money. So we seen this whole cash grant might end up paying back for textbooks. Oh, y'all just see, y'all don't really find prints. You got, when it's administration, you got to really find prints. Even when somebody said, trust us, trust the process. This way you end up with. You ought to say cash grant, they start doing backflips. He says more free money. Now they say you got to pay. Shelley, Mosley, Beatrice Selby, you got to pay. Warren Mark, that's what they're telling us, you got to pay. If you got to you have the people textbooks, you got to pay the cash grant. That's all showing down. Pay roll out. She said, pay, keep moving. Pay, keep moving. Pay name calling tonight, folks. I want y'all know we big. Kidackie big, but he got sense. David Hinds though. But I coming to come. Y'all know it's a slow look. I coming to come. We big, but we got sense. Yesterday, I get big. Another year, folks, another year whereby we big. And who won't get sense yet getting it? It's only here fun. Only here fun struggling. We big and we got sense. You know why? Because you can't put this when we, folks, a lot of eyebrows are being raised. I mean, we can talk about this a little later on, about what transpired at Monrepo. Because some video imagery coming out of Monrepo seems to suggest that the road was on fire, and the gas, the pass already before the protesters get there, and barricades were burning and all of that. Some video imagery seems to suggest that long before the protesters got to Monrepo, it was already mayhem there. Lola John, I ain't want to pretend I didn't see what I didn't see. Penelope Austin, I ain't want to pretend that I didn't see what I saw. Eileen Griffith Norton, Ines, that's one person, you know, Kidackie. That's one person. Samantha Prince, Millicent Ross, I ain't want to pretend. And so a lot of people, this narrative about protesters and so on, causing upheaval at Monrepo, is raising a lot of eyebrows. Right? Take a look at it. People said these folks were already out there making a lot of noise long before the protesters got there. You can hear somebody saying, pass the gas, pass the gas. You see things burning. Right? And it's the folks in Monrepo alone outside. So somebody got to explain this to us. Pass the gas.
Hey, what the gas? What? Then people dead here now. People dead here now. Hey, man! Man, do that not go. Yeah. Daddy boss gone, bye. Gone. Fully gone.
Yeah, and so you can hear and see, you can hear from the audio, there are mentally challenged people there playing with gasoline. And we're being told that is long before the protesters got there. So somebody got to make sense of that for me. You know, we beg, but we got sense. I tell you, all coming along. David Hinds got a lot of sense. Kidackie has a lot of sense. They're here, folks, and I'm going to ask them about that. They got to explain that to us. What else we got in the fight card, folks? Moving along is hamper nation. Y'all know it's hamper nation. Hamper nation. Everything in this country is a hamper. Soon as your head out you know, take half pint split peas and a quarter pint oil and take a little salt and call us in the morning. Right? You got a problem with the bank. They say take a gallon of water. Hamper nation. So the folks at Monrepo had some issues. You know, they were attacked by Ratigan and them boys. The Mali crew, they were attacked by some elements there, and that should not have happened. But they got lots of money. One woman said she lost 3 million in Polari egg ball. Another woman said she tire was damaged. She get 1.5 million. Polari woman got 300,000. And they showed that they were compensated. Well, today, folks, was hamper time. Right? And so they told us, you know, persons would have lost fish there too. But they bring back fish. The hamper nation. Right? When things coming by your side, I know a lot of folks hungry and going down the road. See some people collarbone, all the jawbone showing out. Some people even recognizing them. It's when you hear the voice, then you realize, oh, it's you, so. Right? Things tight in this country, folks. The economy like it in free fall. Fish coming by your side. 1.5 million, 300,000 coming by your side. We got to make sense of these issues in this one game we keep talking about. Folks, both of my guests are here. I'm so excited to get to the main event. Photo of the day. Photo of the day. Look, this country's problems. I'll know that. This country's problems. How do you caption this? Look how Irfan looking at Hickens. Like you had so much of faith in you, you could bring a crowd under subjection, under control. Yeah? But you got me out here looking thin. Folks, I want to see some of the labels. You're going to label this photograph. Yeah? Man said, no, I stuck with you now as Commissioner of Police. The man won't change his mind, you know. If a man can get up in the morning and he's thinking about the burial ground, he can change your mind about who you want for commissioner of police. It's not too late. Even it's not too late to have meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition on the commissioner of police. It's not too late. Right? What's the I even given the acting commissioner of police? Somebody caption that for us, the man. Right? He looked like he asking the commissioner whether he get he banga maybe or he catfish. Right? Look at the eye. Photo in the air, folks. I don't know what Avon is thinking. But if looks could kill, you know. Cemetery, here we come. Cemetery, here we come, folks. Photo of the day. Photo of the day. Spotted, we spot some people. You know, when we spot the big ones like Dr. Hinds and Kidackie and Son, this is the segment for them. Spotted. We spot a couple of people. Look who we saw. Look who we saw. Our own friend, Wen. Willibus, yes. Lovely fella. Bright fella. Right? He got all the way for nothing. Bright fella. Right? But we're watching the red shirt, though. We're watching the red shirt. Even Ali's here too, Sarah Lynch, but we spot a good young man, very enterprising, bright. He's not them touch what about bright, you know. This is them LED like 7,000 watts and so on. Bright fella. Right? But it's a red shirt we're a little concerned about. That being said, folks, are we at the end of it, folks? I'm so happy to get back. Yes, the main event, guys. The main event. And I'm pleased, so pleased to have my guest with me this evening. The one and only, I tell you, this is the night when two mountains meet a little hill like Duncan. Two mountains. I only aspiring to be like these guys one day. Folks, the one and only Dr. David Hinds is here with us. And we have the one and only Kidackie Amsterdam. I don't know why I can't get Dr. David Hinds' video, but maybe we'll get it in a second. Let me see if we can. Dr. Hinds, can you sign in for us one more time? I'm not picking up your video for some reason. We hope Dr. Hinds can come through. Sir, the one and only Kidackie Amsterdam is here with us. You all know him. This is the man who has the mornings on lockdown with Buxton mornings. Is that the name of it? Am I capturing it right? I want to do it justice, sir. Please and thank you.
It's the Buxton morning time. Good evening, viewers. Good evening, host.
That is it. I know I have it the first time.
Morning time.
Welcome, sir. Buxtonian morning times. He locked down the airwaves from around 6 in the morning, right about 12 o'clock. It's all his own. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, good, Sharon.
Great. Kidackie, Dr. Hinds is going to join us in a second. I know the East Coast is all yours. That's where you live, you born, you grow, you dwell. Lots have been happening on the East Coast. Lots have been happening. So let's start with that. Let's start with what's happened with Quindon Bacchus. He seemed to be joining a long list of people who have died under very suspicious circumstances, Kidackie. And I want to go through a couple of these persons for us to give our I think we have Dr. Hinds now. Rock and come in, Dr. Hinds. Welcome, sir. A very good evening to you.
Hey, how are you doing, boy?
We are good. We're trying. This is the night I was telling our viewers, well, a little hill like Duncan meet two mountains. You know, they said two mountains don't meet, two mountains meet. That is the night. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. We see.
Lovely. So we're picking up the conversation on the Quindon Bacchus murder. This is not the first death, but this is the one that has resonated with people, perhaps because we're tired, we're fed up, and we've seen this in the past. And we can start with folks, for instance, Dr. Hinds and Kidackie, like Cecil Sampat, who was shot in July of 2021. Sherwin Philly, again, under suspicious circumstances by police. Cecil Sampat was shot in his back. Sherwin Philly was shot in his eye by police. Peter Headley also was shot by police under very suspicious circumstances. We got in Boston, and now we have Quindon Bacchus, and the folks are telling us trust the system. Kidackie, make sense of this for us, please and thank you.
Well, all of those killings which you have highlighted there simply says that the state is failing its citizens because people's lives are being taken extrajudicially. As far as I know, the law says when someone dies extrajudicially, there is supposed to be an inquest. We're not having inquests in this country. because if you have a coroner's inquest, then the coroner's inquest will determine perhaps culpability, along with the fact of the manner of death and so on. And so people will be made answerable. And since the state is not holding these inquests, it means that the state is practically condoning extrajudicial killings. Um, in all of these cases that you've highlighted here, um, the state's security apparatus, the coercive arm of the state in the Ghana police force, um, elements of the Ghana police force have been involved in those killings. And the state practically has jumped through hoops, as I like to say, to protect those operatives. The most recent is the killing of Quindon Bacchus. Um, today is the 1st of June. It means that
1st of July.
July, sorry, it's about 21 days
Yeah.
since Bacchus was murdered. And up until now, there is no definitive position as to whether or not or how soon the shooter or shooters will be charged. I say shooters because while everybody has been focusing on Christophe de Nobrega since the incident, when Ali spoke to that incident the other day, he said that another policeman is also in custody for the same incident. So there's a possibility that they were shooters. And so there's no definite pronouncement as what is likely to happen in this incident. We know of the Orin Boston incident. I think it took about 6 weeks before you had any definitive advice coming out of the DPP's office. And as far as I know, the alleged shooter made one court appearance. And since then, you are hearing nothing of this incident, this murder from the corridors of justice. So when you look at all of these, you look at the precedent. In short, the state is condoning extrajudicial killing. And if you look at the ethnicity of the persons who are killed extrajudicially for the most part, you would want to believe that the state is at war with Afro-Guyanese.
Yep. Dr. Hinds, talk to us, sir.
But I want to pick up from where Kidackie left off there, because extrajudicial killing is normative in societies like ours, whether it was in the colonial period or now post-colonial experience. Extrajudicial killings have occurred. What we have seen is since the PPP's return to power in 1992, a surge between 400 and 900 young men were killed extrajudicially prior to 2015. And there was a lull between 2015 and 2020 because there was a change of government. And immediately as the PPP returned, that practice continued. Now, if we live in a multi-ethnic society and extrajudicial killing is the norm, and the overwhelming majority of the victims are of one ethnicity, then it points to something deep in the society. And I am saying that we are a society, for the most part, that do not value the lives of all our citizens the same way. There is a different value system for different ethnicities. Let me demonstrate to you what I mean. Quindon Bacchus was killed 3 weeks ago. Every single day, his family and the members of his community have been on the streets. For 2.5 weeks, the media paid no attention, except for us on social media, on Travis Chase on the East Coast. This mainstream media paid no attention. No, the country went along with its business. The president didn't go there, the ministers didn't go there, except for an initial visit by the acting commission of police. Nobody went there. The country went about its business. It was business as usual while people were on the streets. And then boom, on Tuesday, those people decided to walk to church. And they passed several Indian villages, had a big funeral Indian cars passed up and down on Sunday while they were there. No Indians were attacked in their cars, nothing. And then all of a sudden, on Tuesday, they're walking apparently to Georgetown. They're stopped in this Indian village where people are selling their things. And boom, all hell broke loose. It is very clear that this was an entrapment on the part of the police on one hand and the political operatives, where you had individuals who were planted in that crowd, who went and committed what they did at Monrepos. But here is the story. Immediately as that happened, the Georgetown media pounced down. And there they were. Auntie, tell us what happened. Tell us what happened. Were you lost? Were you this? Where were that media, those media houses, all the 2.5 weeks? There are some stalls being burned. There is a vehicle being burned. There are vegetables and fruits being stolen. And the national media comes down there. The president bounces down there. The minister of Home Affairs is there. None of these people, none of these institutions saw it fit to go into Golden Grove. What it means is that once there is a whimper from one section of the community, our institutions, our formal institutions, our government will step, they're ready. They went there, they hugged those people, they promised them compensation on the spot by the end of the day without any due diligence, without any passing through the money from the necessary agencies. They were compensated. Later on that night, the police, in the company of the military, comes down on Golden Grove, shooting at them indiscriminately, in their homes, in their business places. Women, children are shot with bullets. The church is devastated. Golden Grove became a war zone. The police and the army. The next day, no headlines in the newspaper. It never happened. The president didn't go there. The prime minister didn't go there. The minister of Home Affairs didn't go there. The country is as if nothing happened in Golden Grove. The focus was on stands being burnt, vegetables being destroyed, and so forth in Monrepos. It is clear that this country values the lives of some citizens more than other citizens. If you wanted a more graphic explanation, you have it there, very clear by the actions of the leading institutions of this country. We are in a very bad place, Gerard.
Yep, you know, we saw that protest activity, that huge protest activity on the East Coast, and there's a school of thought, Kidackie and Dr. Hinds, which suggests that it's more than just the killing of Quinton Bacchus, that it's the economy, it's the health sector, it's public security, it's all of that. It's Sugate, it's Guyana for sale, it's the inequity, it's the high inflation out there. It's all of those things just bubbling up, and people are just fed up of what's happening.
Yes, Sharon. People are saying stupidly that there was some report in some section of the press that the boy who they have under close arrest or whatever arrest, that he was let go, and that is what caused the demonstration. It's an insult to the intelligence of the people of Golden Grove, Nabactis, and Haslington, an insult to the intelligence of the country. As you said, somebody was shot. Somebody was shot by the police in the full sight of the world. The videos are there. And those people began by asking, please, for some justice. And as the days go by, the human spirit is beginning to absorb the moment is beginning to absorb everything that is out there in this toxic environment since 2020. And on that morning, without bullhorns going around announcing let's go on march, without announcement on the airwaves, beautiful men and women, most of them young, set out westward on the highway to tell the world that something is brewing in our country. That's what happened there. It's the coming together of all those pent up energies for 2 years and more. And those people, they're spontaneously walk on the earth, walk on the streets, and their foreparents during the period of enslavement. They took their money after they got out of slavery and bought those villages. There their sons and daughters will walk in the streets, tears in their eyes, frustration to say to the world, enough is enough. And what does the state do? The state moves to criminalize them. The president says, I want justice for some stalls of corn. I want justice for mangoes and pillory. And no justice for a man that was killed, snatched away from his family, leaving a young child, leaving his mother, his father, his family. And nobody's crying for them. But we are shedding tears for some burnt stalls and the burnt minibus. What have we become as a country? Where is the human element of leadership? I can take no more. I can take no more. And the people of Golden Grove and the people of Guyana have a right to say, we are not taking no more.
Kidackie?
Yes, like you rightly said, the killing of Quindon Bacchus is what we refer to as the straw that broke the camel's back. As the boys would say in the street, poor people fed up, right? Looking at all of the abuses that have been meted out to the citizens of this country and citizens of a particular ethnicity since this PPP administration came back into office in 2020, approximately 2 years now, there must be a breaking point. And when you consider, when you look around your society and you see that your roads, for example, are in terrible state, and a village that is a stone's throw away from you has, if you want to call it top of the line roads, your schools are being neglected, and the village next to you is getting top of the line schools, and resources are going to the village next to you by this government. They're giving grants here, left, right, and center. They're economically empowering that community, and yours is getting nothing. You are becoming anxious by the day when you recognize that your opportunities to employment, those of you who are employed, your jobs are taken away. You're left by the wayside, and people are taken and used as replacements in the very places that you were dismissed because, according to them, the job has become redundant, etc. You're becoming anxious every day, and you're saying to yourself, look, soon there will be no place for me in this society.
Mm-hmm.
Not only have you marginalized me, but now you're hunting me down and you're murdering us. And unless we take a stand, we are going to soon become endangered, or much, much more endangered than we are, and perhaps extinct. In keeping with the utterances of certain people who are sitting in the seats of government, we're going to make the run.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so when you see that reaction out there, it is what I want to call a coming together of interests. It's not only about the life of Quindon Bacchus, it's about the frustration that the young people in this society are faced with. It is about the injustices which they are witnessing, right? And basically, they've come to the point of saying, listen, we're going to stand up for something because This can't continue.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Kidackie and Dr. Hinds, somebody made the observation that is either on that day a lot of people stayed home or a lot of people are unemployed in this country. And I got some stats to show us that. Is that a lot of people stayed home on Tuesday the 28th, or a lot of folks are unemployed in this country? And, from their own data, we have to show that there are about 42,000 people who are unemployed. The unemployment rate in 2020, when these guys came in, was at 13.1%. It's now at 14.5. About 5, 6, 7,000 persons went unemployed since the PPP came into government, and they said they didn't fire anybody from the public service, right? So a lot of people have gone on the unemployment line, and we have data that suggests that lots of this is from rural Guyana. So it's either a lot of people stay at home on the East Coast, or a lot of people don't have jobs, which is part of the problem too.
And of course, the majority of the people who were on that march were young people. And we know that the unemployment statistics, if you were to look at it from the standpoint of age group, you will find that the percentage will go up when it comes to young people. And this rise in unemployment is happening when oil money is coming into the country. What is the priority of the government with the oil money? To decrease poverty and unemployment? No, if that were so, it would have been reflected in those numbers. Obviously, they're doing something else with the numbers. You go to the street corner and you say to some people who say, I am selling egg balls and it costs 2 million. All right, we're going to compensate you. What about you? I selling tomato, I lose some money. That is cowboy governance. If you are using money from the treasury to compensate people, I don't have a problem with compensation, but this is not your personal bank account where you just go in your thing and say, look here. This is the government treasury, and there are systems that you must use when you're withdrawing money. You are a lawmaker, Jared.
Yeah.
And you know that who don't spend money while the systems, but because president can go to the street corner and promise money at 4 o'clock, and by 5 o'clock, people are given money. It's a reflection of the breakdown of law and order. It's illegal what he did. It's illegal what he did. But as a society, we have come to accept that kind of behavior, and we have normalized it under the PPP. But that's illegal. What he did there. Let me say this, Brother Sherrod. Let me say this. We are a country that is heading in the wrong direction. This issue is not an issue of race. This is not about East Indians. The East Indians are not the problem here, but here is a government that is prepared to treat African Guyanese as non-citizens, as second-class citizens, and to treat Indian Guyanese as collateral damage. They are prepared to put people in marches to go and to break up these people's stall, to terrorize Indian Guyanese, and then rush there as if they know nothing about it and say, we will compensate. So you are terrorizing these people for political advantage, and then you are doubling down by saying, we're going to give you money on top of that. It's a cynical form of governorship that cannot be sustained and must not be sustained.
We talked early on about whether, you got different strokes for different folks. And I want to ask the question whether you have a sense we'll ever get justice for Quindon Bacchus, much like the Henry Boys. It seems to be the closer you are to the center of power, the better protected you are. We know, for instance, look at Carl Singh. This is the RU from Region 9. Shot a young woman His file is still with the DPP. This is months ago. He's still back on the job as REO, getting paid. We haven't heard anything about that. Thankfully, the young woman uh, survived, had to undergo a very arduous surgery, lost a piece of her intestines and all of that. You got Terry Chan Balgabin. He's the project director at the Ministry of Finance. He knocked down a young teacher in Berbice and killed him. Crossed recklessly into the oncoming lane. The young teacher on his motorcycle, was hit down and died on the spot. He's still on the job, never charged a day. You got Jamal Hussein. He was the Region 6 vice chairman. He too hit down a pedestrian and killed that pedestrian. His file is still with the DPP almost a year, if not close to 2 years now. He has never been charged. We know Alicia Dalrymple in full view of the public, much the same way Quindon Bacchus died. Bitter policeman, was never charged, never saw a police doorstep, much more a court step. You got Fazal Jafarali. He's a member of parliament, hit down a 12-year-old boy in Berbice, fled the scene, never offered assistance. He was never charged. He never saw never saw a court step. And then you got Dr. Grayson Henry too. He works for them as the head of the Ghana Livestock Development Authority there. Same thing too. They can look, they have a pension for knocking down people. And it seems to be, if you're close with people, you can walk scot-free irrespective of what you do in this country. Will we ever have justice for Quindon Bacchus?
Well, it's again, I like to look at precedents. I said on this morning's program, my Boxer Morning Time program, that we can have justice for Quindon Bacchus. The citizens just have to stick to the cause and demand justice for Quindon Bacchus. If you are going to protest for a day or 2 or 3 and then go back to normal and the status quo remains, then it's highly unlikely that you will have justice for Quindon Bacchus. But if you're prepared to disturb and disrupt the status quo every single day and shout to the world that you need justice for Quindon Bacchus, you can and will have justice, right? The problem with Guyana as a society, in my mind, is that everybody sees somebody else's struggle as just that individual's struggle. This struggle for Quindon Bacchus is along a long line, a continuum of struggles for justice of people's lives that have been taken extrajudicially and lives that have been taken by the friends of this cabal. And it is people's lives who this cabal has shown no respect for because their friends and cronies are the perpetrators of these dastardly acts. And so the majority of the citizens must rise up and stick to the cause. And if you do that, it's likely that you will have justice. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. But when Enterprise sees or Enmore sees Golden Grove standing up and demanding justice for Quindon, and they see it as them black man, not like Wagwan because an Indian is president and vice versa, then the struggle becomes much, much more difficult, right? And they say every cow cries its own calf, and a lot of them only come to realize that they're part of the problem when it is at their door, right? As I was saying earlier today to obviously PPP supporter who called me off air and was chatting with me about what David Hinds and I am doing, right? I was saying, listen, the solution is in you people saying to your government, if you see it as see them as your government, that what they are doing is wrong.
Yeah.
And it is also putting you at risk. Because when you empower us as Indians and you disempower Afro-Guyanese, they will come at some point in time. There will be a fallout and we will suffer as a result of it, right? Because the haves at some point in time will rise up. And the have-not will rise up. And it is only the haves they can turn to balance the scale. So everybody has to recognize their role in this struggle, play their part in this struggle. The WPA, I like to refer to the WPA struggles in the 80s, the 70s and 80s, all up to the 90s. The WPA was integral in removing the PNC government from office. It was a black government. The WPA was primarily black, but they partnered with the PPP and other Indo-Guyanese-based political parties to challenge the status quo under the PNC, and they changed it. Are we having reciprocity this time around? Is there any Indo-Guyanese-based political party rising up and partnering with, let's say, the WPA or the PNC and say, y'all doing stupidness PPP, and we're got to see the back of you? No.
Yeah. Dr. Hinds?
Well, look, justice is a process. Justice is a process. And if justice is a process, we are already seeing justice in the battles. The spirit of that young man brought out a community that was going about its business like everybody else. And it has brought out that community. And that community is solid there for 3 weeks. And on Tuesday, they have brought out other communities on these. If the wheels of justice is a process, justice is already started. Those protests are forcing the police to act. Who is the shooter? Bring the shooter forward. Let us see what charge. This thing cannot be swept under the carpet. First, the man was under close arrest. And you force them to say, no, you're under open arrest. And we don't know what they will say tomorrow. So the wheels of justice have already started to turn. Now, so we have to work justice through the institutions, the courts, the justice system, and see as far as we can carry a struggle there. But the larger justice in the society will come when we close in on this government and remove it from office. We have to begin the mobilization, not just for justice through the courts and the other arms of the justice system, but justice at the very level of power. The issue here is power. The PPP has institutional power in its hands, and it has shown that it's prepared to use that power in a very wild and discriminatory way. It has left no space for other political actors in the formal system. It has undermined whatever space there is in the National Assembly for the opposition. It has undermined the leader of the opposition in terms of contributing towards the naming of service commissions and the commission of police and so forth. It has taken over all the space. So our struggle for justice for Quindon Bacchus is also a struggle to regain political space, to regain power. And regaining power must mean initially the removal of the PPP from office. And so therefore, we have to fight for justice at several levels. Justice at the level of the court, justice at the level of the police. Because the police and the police come from all communities. And we have work to do in the communities to ensure that our policemen mainly do not carry out unjust orders and kill their mothers and sisters. We have to struggle for justice at that level. So at the end of the day, justice is going to come. And as I said, we have to struggle for justice.
We're getting some feedback. Somewhere we might have an extra device on. But as you talk about justice there, Dr. Hinds, Kidackie, and it being a process, I'm happy what you said the latter part, that largely it means removing the PP from office. But this process, I like it, Doc, I like it so much at all, because when I see this process in action, some things come to mind. For instance, I see pictures like this. I see Walter Lawrence being prosecuted. I see Carol Joseph being prosecuted. I see Kidackie being prosecuted too. I see Gavin Matthews can't talk for his rights. I see some other folks being prosecuted too. I see Kit Lowenfield and Clement Mingo, Roxanne Myers, Enrique Levan, Sheffer in February, Christopher Jones, James Bond too, David Patterson, Calvin East London, Ralston Adams. That justice is a process 2 years on. I ain't seen no evidence with some of the things they're being accused of, but they're still being dragged through the justice system, this process. But on the other side, when I look, I see here finally with 19 fraud charges, all of them dismissed, no questions asked, no reasons given, and then Nandalal on fraud charges, his fraud charges being dropped, no questions asked, no reasons given. Ashley Singh, Winston Brassington, the High Court told us that there were matters to be tried there, substantive issues with fraud and land sale and so on, Praloville too, with them boys living, were to be tried there, substantive matter. The High Court said yes, let it go forward. Colin Singh had private criminal charges brought against her. Those were dropped, but the process there in this country. People look at those things, they come to some conclusions. Help us, Doc.
When the hour cometh is determined, first of all, by the actions of the government, but more importantly, it will be determined by the resolve of the ordinary people. People's power ultimately is what will bring this justice quicker than we expect. But more than that, there will have to be more Shara Duncans, more Kidackie Amsterdams, more Gavin Matthews and Mark Benchop and so on, who are prepared to bear their chest and say, here I am, without fear, standing up and leading the way of mobilizing our people night after night. You come on here and you say, as your show is aptly called, below the belt in the ring, let's box. I'm going to sting you like a bee, and I'm going to fly you like a butterfly. No matter what you do, you ain't going to stop me. I am going to know Vietnam to fight your war. And strip me of all the privileges. I'm out here in the ring every night. I'm out here by Politics 101 every night. And more mobilizing my people and waking up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. To the Bostonian morning time. I'm going to sacrifice 2 hours of my sleep tonight to Mark and Chuck's Straight Up Show. Brothers and sisters, we have to inspire more to do what we are doing. There is a reason that they fear us. Because the 40 years that when they look at us every night, they know it may well be 40 days and not 40 years. We know not when the hour cometh. We just have to be there in the ring. Like Muhammad Ali. What's my name? Call me Muhammad Ali, not Cassius. What's my name? Jared Duncan. How am I hitting you under the belly? Where it hurts you. And that will determine justice and how quickly it comes.
Yep. Kidackie, the guys came back. They say they're going to make sugar great. Our public servants are hurting. 2 years. They got what, 7.5? 7%? 3.5 for each year. It was different on the last administration. Every year you had an increase for public servant. It looked different on the other side though. Gaisuko, we knew where it was. We knew where it is. Trying to right sizes. Them boys say, y'all don't know what y'all did. We're going to make sugar great again. They come in September 2020. Well, even before they were sworn in, as soon as they came into office, they gave 600 million to Gaisuko. First budget, they gave 5 billion. They came back for supplemental in December of 2020, 4 billion more. They gave Gaisuko again in 2021, the February budget, $2 billion. Came back in June 2021 for supplemental, 1.5 billion more to Gaisuko. The last budget in February of this year, biggest budget ever. Every budget is biggest budget ever. $5.5 to $2.9 billion. They give $6 billion to Gaisuko. But what have we got for the money? Abandon the public service. Abandon, the public servants, what have we got for our money? I feel the state should have produced 4,295 metric tons of sugar. It produced 66 tons, Dr. Hinds. Albion should have produced 9,000 tons. It produced 7,400. Overall, the target was 20,000. They produced 13,000. Sugar is dead, but yet money going to Gaisuko. They don't seem to know what they want to do. Jagdeo said close it down. Avon said bring it back. Jagdeo said no CUI for elections. Avon said he wants CUI. Country in madness. What are we doing? What message are we sending? Nothing for public servant, but even a failing Gaisuko getting everything. Citizens look at these things. They come to their own conclusion what happening. Will we get what we're doing?
Certainly, and the message is clear. Wherever our people are, we will put the country's resources. Forget the other people, and that is what has been happening. I heard, for example, while Ali was at Monroe Post, one of the supporters there, or well, I assume it's a supporter there, saying, "Why you get them police and soldier for sleep all day?" Right? Well, that is the mindset. That is the outlook. He wasn't rebuked by any of the political leaders there from the PPP, right? And so the PPP and their supporters see the public service as dominated by Black people and not deserving of improvements in terms of the wages and salaries and conditions of work, despite the fact that regardless of what they say, those are the people who keep the wheels of industry turning.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the public servants who have to carry out the customs and trade administration in this country, along with other things. If public servants don't tools, there can be no trade happening in this country. Yet they are treated as though they don't deserve a better life. But when you look over at Gaisuko, like you've just done, the nation's resources are being poured into Gaisuko. An industry, a sector where it has already been established that the cost of production far outweighs the market price that you will get for your commodity. And more especially that you are exporting this commodity to foreign territory for way less than you're manufacturing it for. And so you're subsidizing the consumption of a foreign territory with this nation's resources. But the very people in this nation who are making that export possible in terms of the work they're doing in the public service are being treated as though they don't deserve anything. When you look at Gaisuko, what you're seeing is friends and cronies, again, cronyism. Because the man who heads Gaisuko is receiving a super salary.
Yeah.
Right?
And then producing nothing there.
And producing anything. It means that even the cost of production at Gaisuko has increased. It has increased. But the quantity that is being produced has decreased. I think in economics, you talk about advantage and disadvantage of trade there. You ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting value for your money. But yet, more and more money is being poured into that sector. Why? Because, again, apart from the cronyism in terms of their friends and cronies being entertained in high offices with super salaries and all kinds of entertainment allowances and housing allowances and all that, sucking the blood of the nation, they see Gaisuko as where the majority or a whole host of the people who support them and who perhaps they believe can keep them in political power as existing. And so they will throw the resources there, not to keep Gaisuko open, but to pay for votes. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that, right? Mm-hmm. When they recognized over at iFlocked, I think, right? When that factory broke down for several mornings, when they recognized that all that they were doing, they couldn't get it to function, what did they do? They gave the workers
more money.
They get them more money.
More money.
Because they don't want disgruntled workers, right? Because they see that they see disgruntled workers as prospective lost votes. So that is what we're having.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
what we're
You
having.
know,
And
the
let me say this before I go from this topic. And it is allowed to happen. It is allowed to happen because, again, the citizenry is allowing it to happen because everybody sees everybody's struggle as different. Once we get on the sugar belt, we don't care about them public servant. We don't care about them police who, if anything were to happen, we will call upon to defend us. Right? Once we get VRA.
correct. Yep.
Well, the dangerous brew of ethno-economics and trickle-down economics will lead you just where the PPP was led in 2011, 2015. And I hear my brother Kidackie that it's allowed to happen, and I understand that conclusion, but nothing is allowed to happen. When you have the power of the state, you're able to do something here and appease people over there and cover up. And it appears as though, because people's first line of action is to feed their families. And then their second line of action is when they realize that the food, as Martin Carter said, the food
Yeah. A man is muzzled by the food it eats to live.
by the food it eats. And so the PPP, because of their lack of intellectual capacity, do not realize that they are digging the hole of their own demise. Nobody in 2011, 2010, would have known that in 2011, a small but important section of the PPP support base would break away to a party named the Alliance for Change and reduce the majority in parliament. And even then, nobody knew that in next 4 years, there would be a change in government. The mouth is muzzled by the food it eats. It's a process. Teacher George said, Guinea border Allah, and they yell, when you think that I am doing nothing, I am behind you back only waiting for you to not to pass your head. As little boy, when big man take the eyes and pass you, you wait till them sleep awake and you go take off the cap and pass them. Something is always happening. And then one day, like on Tuesday, it bursts. And you say, where have these people been? They've always been there. They've always been there. But the human mind is driven not by remote control. The human mind is driven by what it feels. And when that feelings, that's people, then even we, the political analysts, are surprised. Good morning, Mo.
Finally, Dr. Hinds, finally, Kidackie, they said Jagdio Bright. You got Ashley there as finance minister, Jagdio former finance minister, Kolasar is in there. They got a couple other people there too. But the economy ain't going no place. They're pumping a lot of money in the economy, but ain't going no place, and they're being warned about this. You have the little money in your pocket, but they're doing less than they did over the 5 years. The last guys were there is doing much less. You go, you buy a 10,000 gasoline, the tank asks you, does it? Right? And we see what's happening with inflation. If you know your money out your pocket, but you're going to the shop still with 40,000, but you bring out less bags. And we see what happened in the coalition years, 2015 to 2020. Imagine, Dr. Hinds, like in 2020, inflation was 0.9. It means the spending power was even greater. By 2021, them boys coming is 5.7. Inflation is projected to be 4.1 this year, and there are some analysts who are saying it might even reach as far as 11%. Believe it or not, Dr. Hinds, Kidackie, the mid-year economic report is out. The mid-year economic report is out. and inflation is already surpassed what it was in the whole tenure of the APNU AFC. It is about 2 point something right now, according to the mid-year report. According to the mid-year report, Dr. Hinds and Kidackie, sugar is down, sugar production, rice production is down, gold production is down. We're in a bad place. People are hurting. The March we said the protest on the East Coast was not just about Quinton Bacchus, it's about all of these issues. Chinese watching us tonight need answers. What comes next? Talk to us about that as we wrap up the program.
Let me talk about country life. There are two things we like to talk about in the country. We have a song we would sing, Makantali money dead in the country. Makantali money done in the country. Right? The story basically is about a bushman, a gold miner, coming home, among other things, earn his money by fancy cap and hat and so on. And as he is traveling home, the breeze blow the hat off. And he take money and he fling it behind the hat and he say, pay passage and come home. Right? Pay passage and come home. The other thing is, new broom sweep clean, but old broom know the corner. Mm-hmm. The problem with all these chaps that you named and say they're bright economists, right, is that they believe that they can solve every problem in this country by throwing oil money at it. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what they're about. They're practically neglecting the traditional industries in this country. Mm-hmm. Right? Sugar is down and rice is down and everything is suffer agriculture, and because they see the new frontier as the petroleum industry. Oil money gonna save. Oil money is the do it all. Oil money gonna save everything. So everything that every time a problem arises, they take oil money and they throw it at it. Right? Fishermen complain that catch is down because of whatever reason, they throw money at them. Farmers complain that production is down because of where the conditions are poor drainage and irrigation, they throw money at them. When they can take that very money, for example, and improve drainage and irrigation and create more farm-to-market roads and create more processing facilities and educate farmers in modern ways of production and stuff like that, they don't have the wherewithal. Like the president, they're short-sighted and they're generally dumb as to how to manage an economy. Yeah. I can't put it in any other way, really and truly, for the average man to understand what is happening. Right? It's like, there's some people in the interior, they find money today, they go on the landing, they spot it up because they tell themselves tomorrow we're going to find more money.
So we're on the landing right now.
Yes. That's my analysis, that's my explanation.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Hinds?
Sharon, we've got to intensify the struggle. We can't direct the struggle. You and I and Kidackie can't direct the struggle. But we can help to create the conditions that people eye can clean. All right? You see, sometimes you get thing in the eye and you need to clean your eye. And we have to intensify that. We have to put barricades at everywhere that the PPP seeks to escape. We have to barricade them in until they have nowhere to go. It's a process. The process may trot today, and tomorrow it may sprint. It may cool down the next day, and the next day it may sprint even faster. We have to work. You cannot get freedom without fighting for freedom. And you don't fight for freedom if you don't create the conditions for that fight. And so we have to constantly work, sleep tonight, get up tomorrow, and start to work again. I am saying that morning will come. Dr. King, before he died, he said, I've been to the mountain top and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I know as a people we will get there. And that's why when Obama was elected, Jesse Jackson and Oprah Winfrey cried, and all Black people cried, because they knew that what they did not believe could have happened the hour before happened. We are nearing that point in Guyana. I am telling you, if I know a country If I know a country, I know Guyana. It's been 40 odd years I've been working down there. And when I went to Golden Grove, and I looked at those young men, the young people we think all they do is drinking beer. 80% of those people in Golden Grove, the young men and women, and you look at them, and I'm telling you, let not your heart be troubled. Let not your heart be troubled. We have been through this. We beat 400 years of enslavement. The greatest atrocity ever visited upon mankind. We are the descendants of those people who beat that. We beat 150 years of colonial rule, and we continue to struggle and to survive. And we are going. I'm saying, let's all link our arms and our hearts. Let us link whatever we have. You may just have words of encouragement. Call somebody, call a policeman, take him. It's your son, it's your nephew, and say, you do not go and point your guns at your sister again. And if we all do our part and don't look at the other person, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. This PPP ain't going to last forever. The contradictions are too much.
Dr. David Hinds of Politics 101 and Kidackie Amsterdam of Buxton Morning Time. We're so privileged to have had you guys elucidating these many issues, bring clarity on them. It's a privilege, but an education for me personally, really and truly. Thanks for being here this evening in the ring with us.
Sharon, before we go,
I know you have something happening on Monday. Apologies there. Go ahead, Kidackie. Talk to us.
Let me invite viewers to come out and join us on Monday.
Yeah.
On the road, because we are going to have a day of protest. Monday's CARICOM Day, it's a national holiday. And we deliberately chose that day because, as I like to say, all eyes will be on Guyana. Guyana is where the CARICOM headquarters is.
Yep.
And so we want to highlight to the world the grievances that citizens have. Everybody from across this country must come to Buxton Roadhead with a placard or without a placard, and let us join hearts and hands together and highlight to the world that all is not well. I rather suspect that based on the turnout, eyes will definitely be turned on the things that are being highlighted. Extrajudicial killing, the economic discrimination, the electoral fraud, racial discrimination, whatever ails your community and ails us as a group, we will be highlighting on Monday. So come out. The assembly time is 10 o'clock, Buxton Roadhead, and we'll have the necessary refreshments, water, and so on. So fear not. Just
all the roads leads to Buxton on Monday.
Call a friend, tell a friend, and bring a bus load to Buxton. Let's highlight the issues.
All roads lead to Buxton on Monday. Dr. Hinds, Dr. David Hinds, Kidackie Amsterdam. Thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you, my brother, for having us.
Have a great weekend.
Okay.
That's our time. That's our program. Thanks for staying with us. All of you have stayed with us. That's the program. Stay the light. That's the emoji button. That's the program. Stay the light. That's the emoji button. And party with us. Good to have had you here, Chinsing Henry and Maureen Chester Paul, Mark McBean, Lena Jacobs, Joylyn Cook. Yep. Moneypup, Gilbert Jones, and Rashford. I see Amanda Daniels is here as well, and Mark McBean, Bonita, Elise, Parker. Good to have all of you folks here with us. That's the program. That is our time. I think we have a poster of that we can share with you guys. Do I have that? Let me see if we can do it better. So apologies. Yep. That is the graphic for what's going to happen on Monday. That's the day of protest in Buxton. It's 10 a.m. the 4th of July on Monday. Economic discrimination, extrajudicial killing, government corruption, electoral fraud, racial discrimination, all the issues that are going to be ventilated there on Monday. Some of these resonate with you. All roads lead, we commend this to you. We're going to be out there too. Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. Thanks, Kidackie Amsterdam and Dr. David Hinds for joining us this evening. And we're going to post this on our page just after the program. That's our time, folks. That's our program. Have a great weekend. Monday, we're not going to be on the air. None of the programs, we rest on the holidays, but we're going to be back tomorrow with our podcast and on Sunday with our podcast as well. You've got Kidackie's program, also Boxing Morning Time, and you got Jock's program as well, Politics 101. We commend them to you. That's